So Joe, let's talk about the beginning of this football journey for you. When was it? Was it when did you start? You are a Newcastle fan, I know, but was it starting because of you played football with your friends and you watched Newcastle matches and you were thoroughly interested to do something in the football media field, or was it a series of events?
It was a series of events, but yes, it starts with you being involved in the sport as a kid. And, that's why the cultural element of any sport, doesn't matter what it is so important. So, anyone going back to the cricket thing, there'll be a lot of people watching this that will have pictures of Virat Kohli or Dhoni or whoever. And that's the hero that they look up to. And this is why I said earlier about it's so important that an Indian player gets out of India and becomes a hero elsewhere in the world, so that someone growing up that's younger than you and I can put them up as the hero, their picture on the wall. So I had pictures of Kevin Keegan, Peter Beardsley, Paul Gascoigne, plus my friends, they were all, they all supported Newcastle United. Newcastle is a one-team city as well, so you don't support any other club if you're from Newcastle. So that you're surrounded by that culture. The bit in terms of working in football and working in broadcast was completely by accident. It happened at a much later date. I studied agriculture at school, at university, sorry. So I kind of always had planned on going somewhere down the agriculture route, farming. I thoroughly support what's happened with the farmers over the last year. They're so important to the world. I mean, they feed us. And I ended up, because of there was a bit of a recession around about mid-90s when I was coming out of university, and there wasn't many jobs going. And my father had a little newsagent shop selling newspapers, magazines, cigarettes. I don't know what you call them in India, a little tobacconist kind of kiosk. And I worked in there, and there was a guy from the BBC who used to come every morning really early, 6:30 a.m., and collect his newspapers and his cigarettes and whatnot. And we would always talk. We would talk for 15, 20 minutes about football and sport and broadcasting. And he just harassed me in a nice way, he harassed me for the best part of 2 years and said, you should get involved. You have a good knowledge of sport. You have a good voice. You have personality. I don't know about the personality, but and I just kept saying, no. I was too shy. Now that I look back at that time, I was just too shy. That was the top and bottom of it. And I didn't have enough belief in myself, I don't think. I didn't have the confidence to think that I could go front a camera or front a microphone and broadcast and do that. But so anyway, I took a plunge one day and said, yes, let's give it a try. And the rest, as they say, is history. So there you go, from there to here.
That's amazing, Joe. That's an amazing journey.
It was never my dream. It was never my dream. It was never my dream to be on TV. It just kind of happened and then accelerated and snowballed and just got bigger and bigger. It was never really a plan.
So when did it did you take a moment as you were progressing through this journey, and did it ever strike you that this is completely not what I thought that I would turn out to be, and it just hits you in a wave, sort of how did I land here? I was just watching football on TV and discussing it to a old chap.
Yeah, it does actually. It has, and it does, and I still think about it. And I'm coming towards the end of my career now, so I think I've thought about it more lately than maybe I did before. I know that certainly. So my father passed away about maybe 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I think it was. And my father, and I'm sure there's many watching this who will understand, parents. My father never wanted me to get into this because it's risky, it's volatile, it's tough. It's a very tough business to get into, number one, and then to stay in it is very hard as well. So he wanted me to go down a traditional PR and marketing route, or You need to get into marketing. If you want to do marketing in sport, then I'll support that, son. But no, you're not doing broadcast. You're not doing TV. That's too volatile. And there's probably many of you who've had the similar kind of conversations with your parents as well. You might have an ambition or a dream to do something else, but mum or dad says, no, you're going to be a doctor, or you're going to be a lawyer, and that's it. There's no argument. There's no question about it. So it's hard. It's difficult. And it's difficult, especially in the early years as well, because you don't make a lot of money at it. So you'll get your parents. My mother was very supportive. My father not as supportive, but you'll get your father saying every year, year after year, this is your career, and you've made no money this last year. You can barely feed yourself. You've made just enough money to put fuel in your car and to pay your basic bills and food shopping, etc. So it takes a lot of stamina and self-belief, I think. Resilience is probably the best word to describe it all. It takes a lot of resilience to keep going and keep going. But the good thing about that is that it forced me to not think about the money. And I think too many people go into this, and too many people go into professional sport as well because of the money and the fame. No. You get into professional sport, and this is why I'm coming back to what I was saying earlier about Indian players, young Indian professional players. You get in this to be the best striker, the best defender, the best goalkeeper in India, not to, and if possible, to be the best in Asia. And then if possible, above that, to be the best in Europe. And if possible, to be the best in the world. That's why you should get into it. Not because you're going to earn, another 40 lakh over here, because if you stay, I'm sorry, that means you're not confident in your own ability. You don't have self-belief, and you're a little bit of a fraud. You're a professional fraud, really. So you have to have passion. And I see so many young people in India under the age of 30 who have tremendous passion, but they don't have the resilience. As soon as the tide goes against them, quit. That's it, I quit. I go do something else. No. You have to get through that failure and get through the next failure and get through the next failure. And then you'll start to find that things are going for you. Bits of luck that you didn't have at the beginning suddenly happen. How does that work? How does God work that one out? So, I hope that kind of answers your question. Have I gone off tangent a little bit?